Hi everyone, I'm Allie with PotomacBeads. Join me in watching this fun tutorial making the Crush Bracelet. If you need any materials, remember they're listed in the beginning, as well as below me there's links to purchase from us online at PotomacBeads.com as well as PotomacBeads.eu. Gather up your materials and have fun creating. So to begin the Crush Bracelet, we're going to begin with 2 needles. I have them both on 0.008 Wildfire thread in the green color because I'm using beads in those greens and blue tones. Because we are using 2 needles, we're going to begin with our clasp or our button. And I have a table cup button here in that jade color on go 3 11-0 seed beads. And then we're going to put on that table cup button so that we have 1 needle going through one side, 1 going through the other. Putting it through the back side of the button so that they're coming out there along the back. And that's going to decorate the top of the button with a little bit of those seed beads. From there, coming out the back, I want you to take your right needle and your left needle, and on both, add in 2 of your 11-0 seed beads. Let that drop down to the back of the actual button here, and then grab 1 more 11. And my 11 are the Miyuki 11-0s in the black matte AB color. I'm going to crisscross through that 11-0, 1 needle going from right to left and the other from left to right. What you want to make sure and be careful of is that you still have equal amounts of thread on both sides of the needle. So you want to make sure that the thread on the right and the thread on the left still have the corresponding amounts. From here, we are going to add 2 more 11s on both the right needle and the left needle. And then we're going to get ready to add our first halo bead. We're using the 2-hole halo bead along with our round trio in the middle. The round trio is going to have 3 holes, but we're only going to use the outer 2 holes. The right needle is going to go through the halo bead and out the middle, and the left goes through and out the middle. From there, go ahead and pick up one of your trios. You're going to put it in through 1 hole on one side and 1 hole on the other. Again, we're ignoring the middle hole of the trio. Kind of let that go down into your halo bead, and then you're going to take it back down so that way you can put your needle through to the other hole of the halo on the other side. So you're going to be coming out the exterior holes then of the halo, kind of stringing right through the middle. Again, make sure your thread is still equal on either side. And now it's really simple. We're going to repeat putting that halo bead on with the round trio in the middle. And on the sides, before doing so, I want you to take a rounduo mini, and this is that pastel petrol color. Put on your rounduo mini, 1 each, 1 on the right, 1 on the left, and let that drop down next to the halo that's already there. Again, to continue the bracelet, pick up 1 halo bead, go through on the right and the left needle, take that metallic emerald round trio, go to the right hole and to the left hole, pop that down into that halo bead, and then take those needles out to the other side. Once you're through again, you're going to add 1 more rounduo mini on both the left and the right needle, and continue on till you have about 14 or so halo beads on, depending on your wrist, maybe a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit bigger. And then we'll come back and we'll just decorate the sides of it a little bit to finish out the end of this Crush Bracelet. Once you have all your beads on your thread here, you're actually done at this point with the round trios as well as the rounduo minis. I end up with 13 of my halo beads. Again, if you want it a little bit bigger, about 14 will kind of be standard size. 15 is going to make it a little bit larger. Coming out the last halo, I have my right needle in my hand, and I'm going to add 2 seed beads onto that right needle. And then I'm going to add a 3rd seed bead. This seed bead eventually will cross through. Picking up the left needle then, I want to mimic that. So 2 seed beads go onto that left needle. Go ahead then and sew back towards the last halo bead through that last 11-0 seed bead, and what that's going to do is that's going to crisscross through the actual bead then. And that's going to mimic then what is done on the other side as well. From here, you're going to need a loop that is big enough to put your button or your clasp. If you're using a regular clasp, I would go ahead and use a wire guard or a wire protector, and that's going to help to actually make your bracelet last a little bit longer, make it a little bit durable, and it actually gives it a really nice look if you want to do a push clasp or a lobster clasp or whatever type. You could also do this bracelet as a bangle and basically just keep going with it going in the round. From here, I'm gonna put on about 28 or so seed beads. And then once those 11O seed beads are on, I'll take the right needle that's in my hand and go back through that same seed bead that we crisscrossed through. And the key to making the loop for the seed beads and for the actual buttons is that you want to make sure that it's going to be big enough but not too big to go around the end clasp. So again, this needle is going to go back through that right hand side and back through that 11O seed bead. And I am using the thicker Wildfire thread just because it's a little bit heavier with those halo beads. You don't have to, you can use thinner if you have that. I'm gonna reinforce this loop. I won't make you watch that, but I'm gonna reinforce the loop going back through with this left hand thread, then back around through those beads. And then we're gonna exit with both threads coming out the right and left side of that link bead that's in the middle. Coming through now, we have the really easy job of counting to 6. I did a couple on the left-hand side to show you, and then we'll come back and do the right-hand side together. You're gonna come down the 2 11O seed beads that sit right before the first halo bead, and literally, again, all we're doing is counting to 6. Pick up 6 of your 11O seed beads. If you wanna use 15Os, you're gonna use about 8 or 10. Go through the second hole of that rounduo mini that we added between all the halos. Give a nice little tight yank, which is going to pull the halos out a little bit in the design. So the halos aren't going to sit kind of directly under the halo bead, or the rounduo minis rather. They're going to get pulled a little bit towards the outside. Put on 6 more, down through again. You can see you get that nice arching effect. Kind of has that turtle look. That's the name Crush, if anybody got that from the EAC and the Finding Nemo reference there. And we're going to keep going on and adding in our 6 beads, coming down the sides then of our rounduo minis. If you want to and you want to make it a little bit more intense of a pattern, you can also cross in front here, adding in some seed beads, going over to the opposite corner of the next rounduo mini and do a crisscross design as well, just to add a little bit. You can also come back through the design and add the crisscross on the top if you did want to complicate it and make it a little bit more intricate as you're working. Right now I'm going to continue down the rest of my bracelet, adding in my 6 seed beads along the sides and catching onto those rounduo minis. To end the bracelet, it's really simple. I have my last 6 seed beads on here, and I'm gonna go up through the 2 seed beads that are right there at the end. Going through those 2 11O seed beads then. I did the same thing on the other side, and my thread is out right after them. With this thread that's still in my hand, I'm gonna go through the 11O that's right there at that cross point, and what we're gonna do is use this as our opportunity to reinforce our clasp. Going up through the 2 seed beads that sit at the top of that Y, coming out through that table cut button to the top there. And then once you come through to the top of that table cut button, go ahead and take your needle and thread through those 3 seed beads to the other side. If you do have a regular cut button rather than the table cut one, you sometimes need to make sure that you're going through the seed beads as you come out through that top to catch on to them. Go down through the clasp again. I want you to go through those 2 11O seed beads on the opposite side. Bring your thread and needle out. And then work through that 11O at that cross section there, the one that we crisscrossed through, one more time. When you bring your needle out on the opposite side of that 11O seed bead, what you're going to do then is tie the 2 thread ends together. Because it's 0.006 thread, having a little trouble pulling, I'm gonna give a little wiggle with my pliers. And then from there, I don't want to break my bead, so I might need to kind of pull that back a little bit, get that thread if it's balled up there. And all I'm going to do then, I'll bring this other needle instead to the other side, going through that 11O seed bead, right to the other side. And then as I pull it through to the other side, we're going to tie the 2 thread ends into knots. So it's really simple when you work with 2 needles. You can take those thread ends and literally tie them together. If you're not familiar working with 2 needles and you don't want to, you can do this bracelet with 1 needle as well, but 2 needles and 5 feet of beading thread get you done really, really quickly and easily, which I think these halo beads give a nice, rich look to the bracelet. Again, I did use the 0.008 Wildfire beading thread along with size 10 beading needles. And then once I'm done with those knots in that inconspicuous place, the 1 needle I'll take back down through the design a little bit. And that way my thread ends, when I burn them down or cut them down, aren't exactly in the same spot, and they're not right next to that knot as well. But that's gonna finish off the whole idea of this fun crush bracelet. And you can see kind of that bracelet on and how rich and nice that makes it look with that design of the actual halo bead used to highlight those round trio beads. So check out those round trio beads, have fun making the crush bracelet. And then again, if you want to, go ahead and at this point you could go back and crisscross through those rounduo minis if you did want a little bit more of an intricate look. Thanks so much for watching the crush bracelet. Remember, if you need any of the materials, they're listed out at the beginning of the video, as well as links below the video near that subscribe and like button. You can check out links for them online as well. If you want to, you can also comment below and let us know what colors you're planning on doing your crush bracelet in, or what you want to use in the middle. Remember, with the halo beads, you can use multiple different sizes of 6mm 2-hole beads. If you want to, you can also do a variation on those 1-hole beads as well too, going with those 1-hole halos. Have fun playing with them, and thanks so much for watching here at Potomac Beads.